This is Katie Hunter from MMA UK. I'm here with Cal Ellenor, Cal Pacino to his fans. I'm sure everybody knows that Cal had some devastating news a week or so ago. But then we saw on Instagram that he's going to be able to fight again. So here to clear everything up is Cal himself. Cal, how did this all first come about?
Basically, I got a phone call from CFMMA about a week after I did my brain scan. I did my brain scan about, I think it was about 3 weeks ago now. And I got a phone call not long after, like when the results got sent off. And they phoned us and said, "Oh, you're going to need to get in touch with a neurologist and get an assessment because some things came up in your scans that the neurologist or whoever the doctor's not happy with, and then they'll not clear you for a fight unless you get this clearance letter from a neurologist." So obviously I was like a bit surprised by it, and I've heard of a few like cases like this happen before. Like it happened to Perry Goodwin before, and they said, "Oh, you've just got something on you, like a mark on your scan. You need to go and get it sorted." Yeah. So I just thought, "Oh, it's nothing." Like I literally didn't even think it was anything at all. I thought, "Oh, they'll just make us go and get an assessment, and then I'll be fighting. It's fine." But I didn't want to just get any random neurologist because everyone I was talking to was saying, "Oh, you want to get someone who's dealt with fighters before, because if any neurologist sees you and you tell them you're a fighter, they're just going to say like no kind of thing. They're just going to knock you back just because obviously neurology and getting punched to the head, it doesn't really go together." You know what I mean? So basically, I spoke to Wad, who's Dan Hardy's manager. He got us in touch with a guy in London who'd apparently worked with fighters before. So I knew it was like the best kind of person to go with. So I basically got myself some trains short notice. They said, "Oh, he can give you an appointment." This was on the Tuesday, I think it was. And they said, "Oh, he can give you an appointment on Thursday." So I had to book some trains. Obviously, I booked them, got myself straight to London, straight down. Met him, did the assessment, and straight away basically said like, he said, "Oh, have you had any other scans before?" And I said, "Yeah, I had one in 2017 when I signed AFC in South Africa." And he said, "Oh, have you got the images from the scan?" I said, "I haven't got the images. I tried to get them when I fought Nathan Grayson, but I couldn't get them. I tried to get them. Well, I'd been trying to get them anyway to show this guy, but I couldn't get them. So all I had was a review. But what the review does is it basically just says what's on the images anyway. So that's what cleared us when I fought Nathan Grayson. So obviously nearly another half a year's passed since then, whatever." So I was saying this to him. I was saying, "Look, like all I've got is this review." So I put it on there, and he says, "Well, like," he says, "I'll tell you." Well, at first he was saying, "Have you ever been knocked out?" And I was like, "Oh no." He was saying, "Have you ever been knocked down?" I was like, "No, I've never been knocked down, fortunately." And he was saying like, "Oh, it's really good for how many fights you've had and stuff like that." And he was saying it's like he was really surprised at the damage that he's saying I had, and now he was saying that he was saying like on my review in 2017 it says I didn't have a gap in my brain, and now it's saying that I have a gap in the frontal lobe, which is like a part of the brain, obviously. And he was saying there's 3 spots of damage on the right hand side. He says in 2 years' time, that's like a massive amount of damage to have in a short period of time. And he's saying like obviously like it's really progressive, and he's saying like he basically said like, "Oh," he says, "do you know Muhammad Ali and fighters like I?" Saying that's the start of brain illness. He's saying things like this, conditions like this is what comes from this. And he said it's not a case. This is his actual words. He said it's not a case of what could happen. He says it's a case of what will happen. He says this. He says you've got the start of this now. He says basically, if you want my advice, he said I would retire now. And he said I wouldn't even train anymore. He said if you want to grapple, he said you can grapple. That's fine. He said, but taking punches to the head he says, I would strongly advise against it. He says, and I was saying, well, it's nearly the end of my camp now anyway. I'll not be sparring heavy or anything before then. I'll not even spar at all. I says, I'm fighting James. I says, I get the fight out of the way. And I says, if that's it, then I'll happily do that. You know, I says, I need a fight. I've put my life into it. This is the biggest fight in my life. I need to do it. Everything's pointless without this. You know, this is where I've worked myself to, and main eventing and stuff like that. And he basically says, I can't. He says, there's no doctor, even if you got my signature or any other signature for that matter. He said, there's no doctor that'll look at this sheet and will actually let you fight. So he's saying, I'm sorry, I have to give you this news now. He's saying, like, you definitely need to retire. He's saying, but don't be sad that I've given you this news now. He's saying be happy that you've got this news now rather than a year's time down the line and you've had a couple
Yeah.
more camps and a couple more fights and it's so much worse. He's saying because like realistically you're young, you shouldn't have this kind of damage. He said the damage that you've got on your brain is the same as somebody who just had a bad car crash, you know. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, what? Like thinking like I didn't even take that much damage. Like besides my last fight where I took a few bad shots there, but aside from that, I rarely take shots that much, you know. So I was like really shocked by it and really like obviously I was heartbroken, you know. I was sitting crying in the office, so I left and I was just wandering around London for a couple of hours by myself. Came home and I just felt like I kind of had like no options. I had no one to kind of turn to, you know. I was like trying to speak to people and no one was really giving us any like advice or anything like that, and I didn't know what to do. Like I was like, well, obviously Bellator still think the fight's going ahead because the tagging is in post and saying this and that and the other, but I'm speaking to them and this and that and the other, and what's happening? Am I out of the fight? Am I in the fight? Like the doctors told us they're not going to clear us and stuff like that. So it was just getting closer and closer. And I spoke to the guy on the phone. And he was saying it's looking like they're going to pull your fight, you know. So I was like, wait, it's not.
Was that a guy at Bellator?
Yeah. So I was like, well, at the end of the day, like, because I'm just like I'm a fighting myself, you know, and it was getting close to the fight, and I thought, well, they're not going to get. If they leave it too late, they're not going to get another guy for James, and it's not really fair on him. So obviously, I pulled and I was messing about, like just I was just in a bad place, you know what I mean? I was gutted, trained me also for it, you know. I killed myself, and then obviously like all that came about, and funnily, I've got a friend who lives in Johannesburg, Alistair Bishop. He'd been contacting the lab every time I tried to contact AFC and try to get them to get the results for us. They would just, you know, they would say they would do this, whatever, and they never did. And they were speaking to them, and I was trying to get them, and I could never get them. And then Alistair Bishop was contacting the lab, and they were sending them like on just wild goose chase. Basically, they were sending them to one person, then another person, and then this one and that one. Obviously, they didn't want me to have these images because on the images it showed that the review that they gave us was wrong. So that's why I could never get the images because they didn't want us to have them. Um, so Alistair Bishop wouldn't leave them. He basically kept pestering them, and they kept sending them to different people. And then they gave him one woman's name, and he went, and she went and got the images. And basically, when the images came, I sent them to Yoni at CFMMA, and he basically got in touch with whatever radiologist it is, and they basically said straight away, like, oh, the review's completely wrong to what the images show. Like, the images show that you have got what they're saying in this scan, but yeah, it hasn't changed from 2017. So what it means is that you can compete again. You'll just have to have more regular scans. Like basically said, like, well, they got these images and then they kind of said unofficially wouldn't tell you this is what it's looking like. But then it was another 4 or 5 days before I actually got there. That's why it took so long to get that post on. And when I got that, like honestly, the time I've had over the past couple of weeks has been one of the lowest points in my life. Like I've been in a bad place, and then obviously getting that news really kind of helped us out a lot, you know what I mean? Like I felt like I got my life back, and obviously so as soon as I got that, the first thing I did was message him and said, look, like I want to fight James, like first chance I can get, you know, like it's the fight that I feel like I deserve, and I feel like James obviously wants his fight as well, and he's keen to do it, so hopefully they're going to get it back on, and even if they can I'll fight him anywhere I can, but if they can, there's a show coming up my way again, so it will be amazing to fight him in my neck of the woods, considering I was going to go there and do it in his back garden. So we'll see what happens, but it's just a massive weight lifted off us. Like now, I feel like I kind of got my identity back. Like I feel like I put on obviously a brave face, but I feel like it really took a lot away from us. You know, I feel like I'm nowhere near done. I feel like I'm only starting to get to where I feel like I belong now, and that if that was it, then I wasn't happy with where I was. You know what I mean? I felt like it was just crushed us. It just took me dreams away. I feel like I've got so much to give in this sport, and I feel like so now I've got that second life. You know, I feel like I've got even more motivation now to kind of just want to get after it. So it's been a blessing in disguise, really. And it's just really just made us want it even more.
I think we could all see in the initial video that you put up how heartbroken you were and how devastated, and I couldn't imagine what it was like for you and your whole family to go through that. But so even though you've got the gap and the 3 spots of damage, That's still okay to get back in there. How confident do
Well,
you feel about
apparently
that?
so. Apparently so. They're saying that. I'm
How
not
much
sure if it's
confidence have you
saying.
got in doctors now?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure. I think they're saying that the gap might be something I was born with. I don't know if the three spots of damage mean anything, but they haven't changed from 2017. I've had some heavy shots since then. You know, if you watch me last fight, if anything was going to give us brain damage, I think it would have been that one with Nathan Grayson. So. So if it hasn't changed after that, I guess I'm doing something all right, you know. So so I'm guessing aye. So hopefully that's it. And if they're just going to keep a close eye on it and check it every fight, I guess. So that it's good in a way as well. You know, I've got kids, so I'd like to keep a track on all that what's going on upstairs anyway. So I'm not really bothered. It's safety anyway, so it's cool. I'm just happy to be able to get another fight, you know, and continue what I've been trying to build.
So, if any good has come from it, at least you're going to be checked more than any other fighter, really. Like, you're going to know for sure that your bone's okay every time, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's it. Like, I just feel like, you know, it's crazy. Like, I feel like the more I think about it now, the more I just think this fight just wasn't meant to be this time round. Like, obviously that happened and that broke my heart, and then I got
Yeah.
messed about there for a couple of weeks, and then this would have been fight week now, you know. And my mum's just been taken to hospital again, in intensive care, and got pneumonia and loads of collapse and stuff like that. So this week was just going to be a write off anyway. So
Yeah.
it's a blessing in disguise. So I'm just gonna get back in the gym and just really push for this rematch and get the match and get it back on. You know, wherever they want to put it. Just hopefully this is the fight I get next. Like, I feel like this is the one I deserve. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I hope he wins. I hope he wins on Friday night. I really do. He seems like, obviously, like, aside from all the beef we had and stuff like that, he does seem like a stand up guy. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
hopefully we can get the fight back on, because it's definitely one that I feel like people who's invested in it and people who know me or know James or have watched us fight, I feel like it's a fun one to have, you know, especially on this whole European series, what they're doing. So hopefully they can sort it out.
It's very magnanimous of you to see it this way. Like, everything happens for a reason, and you must be very angry at the people who did the ECF scans. And what do you think happened there? Do you think they made a mistake, or they were incompetent, or do you think they just looked the other way and were under pressure
I just can't
to
see
clear
how
you?
I just can't see how anybody who can be deemed as a medical professional can miss these telltale signs, what they need to be looking out for before a fight. It's not like they're dealing with just office worker where it's like, right, this guy, he's bringing me this. No, you know what you're looking out for when you're looking at this kind of stuff. You know, like, obviously if you're a radiologist and you're looking into fighters' brains, you know what you're going to be looking for. These, like, kind of grey areas, black spots, whatever they are, gaps, things like that, you know, from whatever. So obviously the only logic I can think of is, like, I wouldn't even say it was incompetence. I would think maybe they've seen obviously this on my scans in 2017 and then thought, oh well, obviously I'm going to get pulled from my fight then, and maybe denied it on the sheet then to get us to fight, or they have actually just been bird boxing it and looking at me scans with a blindfold on. You know, I'm not. I honestly don't know, but that's the only thing I can think of. I just think the only logic I can think of is that they've done it deliberately so my fight wouldn't get pulled then.
That's crazy. You must be really angry, because if something had happened in that fight, I mean, quite
Exactly.
aside from this fight, but like, surely that would have needed more looking into at the time.
Definitely that's it. You know, fortunately, I fought someone who didn't want to have a fight with us at all and had his rollerblades on and ran away the whole time. So it wasn't too bad, but I could have snuffed it then, and then who would have knew, you know? So
Yeah,
I'm just glad it's all came to light now. Everything for a reason, you know, and it just gives us something to keep an eye on more. You know, I've had like 40 fights now. You know, I've trained since I was 12, so I probably have took a lot of damage over the years. So it's probably a good thing that I'm starting to be a bit more cautious about it all. Prolong my career, essentially. You know what I mean? Even though they nearly ended it, it's probably worked out for the better for the long run.
yeah, yeah. And well, and it was because of that scan, presumably, that you didn't need one for the Nathan Grayson fight, because you'd already had one in such close proximity to that fight.
Yeah, that was it. I think it was a year and a half, almost a year and a half before that fight it was when I got the scan, and they were saying it was still in date, and they asked for the images then. I couldn't get them, but they were happy with what it said on the sheet. Obviously, on the sheet, it said like when I was scanned, all the signs were fine. There was no gap in my brain, no black spots, none of that kind of stuff. So it just looked like I had a completely regular brain. You know what I mean? But
I
obviously, it
wonder
was
if that
completely
would.
wrong.
I know Safe MMA only want people to have these MRIs on their brain every 3 years, but I wonder if like big promotions like Bellator will just want every time they sign a new fighter to get them to get a new scan if they can't see the old ones. Like
Well,
just off the back of this is a case study.
yeah. Well, obviously, it was like I think it would make sense to do that. You know what I mean? Like it's in the fighter's best interest at the end of the day. And Bellator don't pay that anyway, you know, comes out the fighter's pocket anyway. So it's not like they'd be at a loss. It's a sensible move. It covers them and it covers the fighter as well. So it's a definite move in the right direction, I would say. You know, it's a bit shan that the fighter has to pay, because obviously most people know, you know, fighters, especially ones who's just getting signed to organisations, probably on the best money yet, you know. So it's a kick in the bollocks about the having to pay all that. But aside from that, it's probably a sensible move, you know.
Yeah, it is very expensive, that whole Safe MMA process, isn't it?
It is. I have spent a fortune this time, and then obviously having to get extra stuff and extra doctors and trains and stuff like that. It's trying to keep the fight alive myself. You know what I mean? It's been costly for sure. And then obviously losing sponsors when the fights not came ahead. You know what I mean? Came off. I've lost money there, and then obviously my fight purse, all that's gone now. You know, so it's a massive loss for me at the fault of someone else. You know, so that's a sour one for sure. But just trying to make the best of a bad situation, and just you remember this now and use it for when I'm feeling flat or whatever and not wanting to train or whatever, and just get myself ready and just push through and use it as fuel of the fire. Like,
oh yeah, you've got the biggest inspiration ever. Like that, it was almost completely taken away from you.
I definitely that was the thing that killed us the most. You know, I was when I'm bumping into people and people or the messages I'm still trying to get through now, and I'm so thankful for them. But at the same time, like I am reading them, it's still like now like freaks me out. You know, it's like feeling that I was completely done when I feel like I've got so much left to give. It was really brought us to a bad place. Like honestly, like I was just feeling like I've just worked so hard to get here and put so much into it and believed in myself so much when literally I've been put down so much from so many other people, and finally getting to where I feel like I deserve, and to have it took from us like that just broke my heart. Like, but as I say, I'd say it's just motivating us even more now, especially to know that I've been given this second chance. It's like I just feel like it's going to work even better for us and just propel us even more and just make us want it even more. So, not many people get to realise that, you know what I mean? Not many people get that kind of like new lease of life through their career. And I've had that shock, and now I know how much I really do want this life and want to be a part of this and want to be somebody. So, I'm buzzing that I get to do it again. Like,
So, what's the date of the card that you'd like to face James Gallagher on?
I don't actually know if they've actually released it yet. I just know that there's a card at the end of November in London, which will probably be too soon for that fight. But I know that they've said that they are coming back to Newcastle, and if people who from the northeast or whatever, if you know me up this way, you'll see how much of a big draw I'm getting up here now. Like I can sell so many tickets. Like last time I got refused tickets, I was selling loads and they wouldn't send us any more out. Like I could sell any amount at the is it Utilita in it used to be the Metro Radio in Newcastle. I feel like if me and James headline now or call me and whatever, I'm not bothered. Like I feel like any way you put us on the bill, it's going to be amazing. But that's a card that will be a massive card there. Like loads of local talent as well, like some really good fighters as well. And I feel like I could sell it out definitely. So hopefully they put us on that and we'll make I'll have a Christmas. You know what I mean? That would be nice for my family. I'd have a nice Christmas. Like
Get all those sponsors back on board.
That's it. Definitely, I get the people back on board and have a proper Christmas. Like.
And not too many McFlurries. Got to keep the weight down.
That's it. Like straight back on there, straight back on it now. Like that's it. Get myself ready for this one again. So.
And what was the name of your friend who finally got the brain scans for you out of South Africa?
Alistair Bishop, the Big Al podcast. He's got his own podcast. He's South African. He's he's an absolute diamond. Like seriously, he's one of my closest friends. Like I met him the first time I fought out there, and he's done so much for me. Like when I was fighting out in South Africa, he got people on board who sponsored us and just really helped promoters out there. And he's guys. He's like he out of his own pocket. You know, flies like he's just went to I was at Abu Dhabi to watch the UFC. Just for the sake of just loving the sport, he's just a genuine fan of the MMA, and he's got his heart in the right place and really tries to promote MMA in South Africa. He's just a solid guy, like so. I owe him a lot. I owe my career, basically. You know, if it wasn't for him, I genuinely wouldn't have this. So it's the next one's for him, like for
massive shout out to him, and hopefully I hope you at least got to realise as well just how many fans you've got and how many people like were heartbroken for you and kind of went through it for you. I can't imagine what it's like to be your wife or your mum going through, like thinking that you've got this brain disease that's like getting worse in such a short period of time. I cannot imagine the emotional roller coaster that all of you went through. And you know that, like you said, you've got kids. The only thing that I was thinking was, well, at least he found out before he stepped back in the cage. But it's definitely. Like that's not going to help when you're going through months of depression that you can't do what you love. So I just my heart goes out to you for everything you've been through and your whole family. But it's lovely to see you with a smile on your face.
Thank you.
And just able to, you just don't seem very bitter about it all, which is just incredible. I know that I wouldn't have handled it so magnanimously.
It's one of them things. It was just out of my hands the whole time, and the only thing I can do is just try and make the best of a bad situation, you know. And that's what I feel like I always kind of do. I feel like anytime I've had whatever kind of obstacle in me way, I feel like just by trying to just be positive about it, it's just helped us through some of the hardest times in my life. And this is definitely up there with them, you know. And I feel like this is just another thing that did it. Like the whole time, like even when after like it was pulled and stuff like that, and the whole time I was just thinking like it definitely can't be the end of this. Like I couldn't just picture myself not making the walk again after everything I've kind of built, you know what I mean? I just felt like it was just not done yet, you know what I mean? I feel like this is not the end of me, and I will get back in, and I'm just so thankful that it's gonna be happening again, you know. I'm buzzing for it.
So this is a fight that I always saw you winning. I still see you winning it whenever it happens. I've told you before, I see you with the belt at some point in the future. So.
Oh, you're an absolute diamond. Thank you. I'll get there.
I can see it coming. And I'm glad my Mystic Meg behaviour has been wrong yet. So best of luck to you. Anyone else you want to give a shout out to before we go?
Just Hannah, my fiance. She's helped us through loads. Like obviously just all my sponsors, like the ones that haven't ditched us, like no, just honestly, everyone really, Fuel Prep, Unit 29, Northeast Jiu-Jitsu, TFT, always, just everyone, Master Debonair, everyone who's on board, you know, they've all helped us out massively. So I'm just so happy to be able to get a chance to do it again. So thanks to them. I'll be back definitely.
Oh, I'm very happy for you that you got the answer that you wanted in the end. I'm sorry you had to go through that, but I can't wait to put this out and for everyone to see exactly what we're
stronger
on.
In it, so that's it. Like,
thank you so much, Cal.
Thanks so much. No, thanks for your time. Honestly, I appreciate it so much, Katie. Cheers, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll speak to you soon.